Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Prey. Let's continue. So, what I want to do, and it's very possibly a mistake, is run back to the main starting area and figure out what was in that safe. Even though, in all actuality, we have like a possibility here where a leverage 2 might be necessary to unlock some areas in there, or a hacking 2 might be necessary. And honestly, I probably am just going to go back to that area later. The thing here is that we know the code is, I'm fairly certain I remember, 0515, which I believe was actually the date they kept telling you anyways. And we're just like in a little bit of a different chapter now, it feels like. And so now when I just try to walk even in this general direction, I think I'm probably going to get attacked by mimics again, and that there's just no stopping that. If anything, it does seem like pretty much every object and every thing in the world is memorized, but unless you were going to go down the direction of doing something like Visceral Cleanup Crew and have all of the objects carried, dragged, and tossed into one corner of every room, the chances of there not being anything around at all is going to be very low. So there's always going to be that chance that one of these 2 coffee mugs or this table is going to get mimicked. This is one of those games that inherently is also going to have that Skyrim-like aspect where the save files are just going to get bigger and bigger no matter what, because it's going to have to save the location of everything. Interesting glitch there, in which the trash can was just floating in the air. I mean, that's pretty obvious at that point. Yeah, and this is like carry 3. As I'm thinking about them do this whole, the way they do this whole memory trick, well, you have to just assume that on that day you had some kind of neuromod installed, probably not one with the mimic's DNA in it, and then that neuromod got removed and that resets everything back to that point. It also weirdly implies that the neuromods after the fact that you're installing could also be removed, and then you would just lose your memory up until that point, almost like the game was going to try and make a checkpoint system. Let's see. Yeah, this, let's see. So we can get in here now, although questionable whether we can get out. Another med kit and another corpse. More of these to harvest. Leave no toilet unflushed. And we'll look around, but I'm not going to close all the doors. Just feels like that's a waste of time, honestly. Some of these smaller things, the game may get more difficult later, and things like cigars may become mimic-able. Mirror is still not really working. I guess maybe the button to turn on those sinks are down there. Okay. interesting how it let me through there, because I potentially would have had to reset the spot. Meanwhile, we would need a hacking 2 to get into the skill recorder room, I think. And there's just no way I would possibly memorize where everything is around this environment. I mean, you could just definitely smash a lot of things out of safety. But like this screen, fixing the colors on this screen, not so much. Seems like finding corpses. This may be some kind of technology of some sort that we interact with later. It almost seems like it might be a speaker or a microphone or a communicator. But if that's a communicator, it would be like a desk phone. Let's see. We would need level 2 hacking. Do we have level 2 hacking? We have level 1 hacking. We would need 3 more mods to do level 2 hacking. And we don't have a password for the security station. And yeah, it definitely seems like at some point they are going to have us come back here and use these elevators. We could repair this. Let's do that. Hold down Y and repair it. That's a control panel. And so now the grav shafts are working. So we can see that the gravity shafts bring you up here. And it's worth mentioning that had I not used the goo gun, that I would not have gotten to the second floor, and I would have not gotten the stun gun. Not that the stun gun has been particularly useful. Weirdly, it is kind of strange that there isn't more of a focus around the like idea of yeah, a lot of stuff that you could carry doesn't seem like it would play any role. Yeah, there's no XP here. I'm a little surprised too that when you get neuromods, they aren't like they don't seem to be things. What does this say? Repair on it. Why are we getting this prompt for repair on this computer? When it seems to me like you can't repair anything, nor am I really getting a prompt for a repair. Weird. Yeah, I don't know if I'm making enough sense here, but this one's locked and we could hack it. Let's do that. Alright. Work our way down here. And then hit the right button. Yeah, I would think what you would want to do in a more Bioshock way, and I guess I am just going to compare this game to Bioshock quite a bit, you would want to have gotten that first neuromod, and it would have given you a very specific ability, and each neuromod laid out in the overworld would have given you specific abilities. Honestly, there probably should be upgrade neuromods and basic ability neuromods, so you can have a much more scripted experience. This feels a little too open for its own good, and it opens the door that most players will probably do fine, but not that many people will do great, and a small percentage of players will do awful because they'll put everything in something that really doesn't matter. Tell me about it. I don't know what scares me more, the time Dr. Wiggly spins in the labs or when he takes the stage. It's like listening to a metronome. Is a reply to Igwe's talk. I join you in the cafeteria, but Igwe's got a lecture scheduled. He's hoping he has the right to gets the right to the neuromod update so we can do a proper eval on the tech side. But you know, Igwe, he'll go Zinner on us for an hour until we're all seeing circles and wavy lines. You'd think he would have learned Earthside to stay focused. Yeah. You have a file here, fabrication plan for the Huntress bolt caster, noise reduction, trigger action, still a bit clacky for my taste, decreased weight when retaining structural stability, no more barrel splintering, finalized name to Huntress bolt caster, rejected Clive's suggestion of pain thrower or Frank's executioner. So this looks like this is straight up a weapon mod that we now have. Let's go data, plans. Yes. So now we have something that seems like we could go back to the main office and finally get a weapon. It doesn't seem like there's too many plans out there anyways. So just coming back and getting that alone was probably worth it. And yeah, I question if this isn't more of a case where you do like not have much of a good reason to come back to these areas. I wish these would magically respawn after a while. I doubt I'm particularly being much less thorough, or much more thorough at this point. So, like running around here and looking at everything a second time is probably encouraging just more people to hit me than anything, more mimics to jump out of nowhere. Yep. Clearly they don't have a lot of thought that you would lift and carry things for very far. And then at a certain level, if this is a Crisis Engine game, the ability to lift things or to drop things are kind of just built-in abilities. Yeah. So I'm not really expecting too much from that. Yep. I also really question why, like, this corpse here and why that actor was in the simulation anyways. If you're resetting people's memories back to the past, why do you need a human in the hallway to get to that point? Seems kind of silly. maybe that is part of the experiment. That's very possible. So, February 22nd, 2032. It's notes as far as an activity log. I already looked at all this. I really don't want to rehash this whole area. So we saw in that looking glass thing, somehow they filmed this here, and it gave you a image of yourself sitting here in the chair, and January, the operator robot here. And then if you look to the side, it said 0515, which I don't really buy, but we'll see if that's right. 0515. 0415 0615 0 525 let's see if we can possibly think about this. Maybe the password's changed. Are these notes in any kind of order as far as all this notes? 0451, we'll try that. 0451. So this is still locked to us. Which, okay. I thought there was a trick there, and either I made a mistake, or I've misread it. Okay, well, we'll leave it at that. Is there a faster way out of this whole facility? Nope, I think you have to come in here. You have to click roof. And then that slowly opens this door. Which we can then just jump over the ledge here and go through this. I think that'll help us. And then we may straight up have to go through the flying sequence. I don't know if I can go through the flying sequence though. Like, I can't get in the helicopter to to get through that. I've potentially broken the sequence enough. Maybe there's a way to get into that part of the facility. See, I want to get up there. Let's see. 744428 prop IDs. There seems to be a lot of stuff that they're simulating here. I don't know if there's really a great reason to be simulating all of that. Okay. Know that somewhere around here would be the wall, but it doesn't probably matter too much if you can get to the wall, because I assume that there's just a wall here. Yeah, you can see the building would open up here and that the wall opens right there. Yeah, and the game is just getting more difficult as far as managing all of that. So it was worth it to go back a little bit, but not worth it completely. That was about 20 minutes of unnecessary action. At some point we probably will get that code. And it creepily does seem like we probably just have not moved the story far enough. Like, we want to get in this room at some point. Could we possibly get in this room? One thought I had is perhaps that the glue gun would potentially stop short circuits. But it does seem like we're just going to have some kind of telekinesis ability at some point, in which we can teleport objects into our grasp from far distances. Alright, so let's just investigate up here and see if we maybe have a key card or something we could hack to get further. Yeah, it does definitely seem like there's a small danger here. Hey, we've got this. 4756 now. 4756. Let's go check out the volunteer quarters. Like, as far as a map goes, though, I don't think we have a map of this area. So, wouldn't be surprised if there's mimics in here. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a very powerful mimic in here. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have your goo gun ready to go. Stun disruptor gun fabrication plan. We already have one of those. Would we need to fabricate more? Recycler charges. Which... Recycler charges. When detonated, the recycler charger breaks down the molecular structure of nearby objects to recyclable material. Your uniform offers some degree of protection, but it's not fail-safe. Standing too close can prove hazardous. Recycler charges can be thrown or affixed to stationary objects using the right trigger. I assume that is at any time. Items confiscated in the latest shakedown. Alright. So, things are just like clipping through the desk. I can't help but feel like the physics of this game may have just broken down as I've left the game paused too long. Maintenance access panel, shotgun shells. Why am I holding shotgun shells? What is that? Oh, that's just a cup. Okay. This flashlight potentially needs to be upgraded. And storyline wise, we may need to just come back to this whole area later. Because at the moment, that does not seem like that's anything. Okay. Getting grenades early, getting the stun gun early, all of that does seem like a smart move. It is a little weird to basically see ping pong tables and what I guess you would call pinball tables, although they don't have much of a backboard. I don't think I've seen pinball tables like that. Although arguably it would kind of make sense at some point to get rid of the backboards in favor of like a projector or a short throw projector or an interconnected screen between multiple pinball tables, having an entire wall used as your backboard. You can't pick up these cards, but you can pick up plates. I assume the mimics don't care too much about water. Alright, now you're in total darkness. Pause now if you want to read this. Pause now if you want to read the rest of that. This does definitely feel like you're just getting food and drink though. And that looks much more like a chess table than the other tables that were labeled as chess tables. And here we have a volunteer. Looks dead, but very possibly not because of any corpse or mimic. Just kind of looks dead. Almost as if the mimics got better at draining and eating humans later on. I wouldn't be surprised if it is a case that the mimics at first just kind of infected you like a virus and you got sick and died, and then they got more powerful and evolved rapidly. But it is fairly ridiculous to just sit in the dark here waiting for your flashlight to recharge, and then very possibly having something just jump out in front of you in the darkness. This is an aspect in Bioshock 2 that they tried to do, particularly in Bioshock 1. So it happened in Bioshock also, is what I mean to say. But we are now at this point out of resources. So if I auto sort here, the things that would give you less value should probably go away. Things like that. We do have a neuromod taking up space. Things like this. Let's just eat that, and let's eat that, and then see if that gives us enough room to pick up the rest. Right now we have a status of being over full. The problem is that there's too much variety here. And the plant material, arguably, has more recyclable ability to it. Let's see if we could possibly upgrade our amount we can hold, because that's the thing I think we need more than anything else. Yeah, I don't think we can, unless it is a suit chipset or scope chipset. What increases the amount you can hold? It's not under the scientist branch. It's not that. It's not that. Extra inventory space. So if we can get one neuromod, the suit modification one, I think immediately is starting to become the thing we want to do. I'm just gonna leave it, I guess. Like, it's going to become incredibly boring very fast if we're constantly just trying to, like, if we're just constantly trying to pick up objects. Yeah. We'll say Bioshock definitely fails to go into that spooky aspect particularly well. Like, and it pretty quickly does just become all action. Okay, habitation pods. Seems like we can only access with leverage 3 in this restricted zone. Comes back this way. And it seems to me, when you have something like this, these barriers are just designed to show you that there's something over in that direction. without actually letting you get to that direction. Unless the walls spin around again, which is believable. It is weird that nothing is attacking us, though. You would expect at this level that you would have had something attack us, at least one mimic. And it only can imply to me that we're just finding corpses here. Let's see. More dialogue and story. More corpses. Apparently this guy is working to bring more contraband in. And honestly, it just seems like gross. Seems like they're trying to highlight that these volunteers were second-class citizens of sort. Right, pomegranate moonshine. It's probably worth taking, so let's see. 5 health points. The sun-dried tomato jerky. Recycler charges we definitely want to keep. Alright, well, 20 here, 20 plus 10 there, so eat. This is going to really come down to just how much can you stack at the moment. Yeah, this is definitely a less fancy version of a bathroom than what we've been seeing in the main lobby. But honestly, for space station stuff, it still looks pretty fancy. Control terminal. Crouch down and go in here and see if we could possibly turn the power on. It seems to me like turn on power. There we go. This is just gonna, let's make a quick save. Have to be careful. Yeah. That shocked me a little bit, possibly not that much though. If you could turn on a speaker and get the sound effect, you think that does anything for Q-beam cells? Well, I definitely am taking that. So let's just drink the duck beer, I guess. Baseball glove. Now on this, let's see. Again, you'd think maybe running on a treadmill might give you some XP or help you gain some kind of secondary currency. It seems like they don't have much of a balanced secondary currency here. Going like a full stamina bar until you run out of stamina. Yeah. We're getting like baseball gloves and something else. Suit repair kits. which I could probably use a suit repair kit. Can we use a suit repair kit? Let's see, where is it? Spare parts, suit repair kit, 25 integrity. Yeah. Use. That's great. That's your armor. Definitely could use more of that. Then I guess if we're gonna have two things, it's probably fine to just eat that. Well, you know what? Not even eat it. Let's just leave it. Better move. Just in case we come back in this whole area. This is... Everybody has a pod they're sleeping in as a volunteer. That one seems to have been knocked down. But it's not a mimic. Bananas, we'll leave. What opens the pods? Seems like there might be somebody in there. Or it might just be locked somewhere else. Hold X to pick up multiple items. Interesting. I have often wanted a game to let you just hold X and draw a circle around an area and collect collectibles as the games get crazier and crazier. Let's look at the map here. We did turn on the power. Poltergeist. So we did summon a poltergeist. Why can I not pull up my gun then? Let's see. Why is my goo gun incapacitated? Yeah, for some reason it didn't want to equip that. I don't think the gun is working particularly well. Let's see. Let's try this. Come on. All of a sudden the buttons don't seem like they want to work. Come on, where are you? It's like I didn't equip the things right. And yeah, I need health. Now probably wouldn't be a terrible idea to just start to eat health instead of like relying on health kits. That being said, it is very questionable whether that's going to get you where you want to go. Like, I don't understand what's going on here. I keep hitting the wrong buttons, I guess. Come on. And see, even if I do defeat this, I don't know if I'm really getting rewarded enough for it. I think the move is probably to do a lot more running and attacking than waiting. Yeah, it does seem like the run and attack is the move there, instead of the waiting and attack. Oh, part of the problem is I was just like zoomed in that whole time. Okay, so I guess that's why nothing was really working well, is because I clicked the right stick and zoomed in and possibly went into a time slowdown mode. Let's see. Crew quarters. Find that person. So it's just a lot of personnel and as far as the security station Normod division. And this probably highlights a lot of people I've just not seen too, from the looks of it. Yeah, I feel like I've run into more of these people than that. 23rd of February. Okay. Now that everything is lit up nicely, would anything really look too much different, or would we have missed anything? Well, we do have a utility here. Let's see. Please. Volunteer quarters access between 10 and a.m. All volunteer rosters should be accounted for before locking. Let's go ahead and unlock that. Then an email gives us a new key code to the volunteer quarters. 4756. Okay. Let's see if there's anything particularly different over here, though. Doesn't really seem like it. It seems like at some point we may cycle back around. Okay. And I just kind of don't believe that there's much of anything here. We ate a bunch of food, which then lets us run around and grab some of that food that we didn't grab before. But we kind of don't want to go this direction and get electrocuted. So by turning on the power, we then do that. This opened this one. but didn't really open this one. So yeah, that didn't feel like that opened too much. And no secret wall opened up over here, which that still feels weird. So unless the game is going to specifically demand that we kill every single mimic, I'm not sure that was really worth the effort. We didn't get a neuromod from that. We got a bunch of food, and we got some bullets to a gun we don't have. I can use a suit repair kit to get back up to 100%, and definitely we've learned we need to turn up the inventory on that. Those are not screens. But who knows if there's going to be something behind any of those screens. Let's see. We would need a hacking level 2 to get past this, which we don't have. Obviously, there's a case that... Do we have the code for this? No. We need hacking level 4. There's a case to be said that coming back and getting one weapon could be very useful, but then the rest of this was pretty much a waste of time. If you go up here, it'll just push you out. Good to know. It could have potentially slammed my brain into the ceiling. And when you find bodies, they're automatically being accounted for. So, yeah. There's just a lot of bodies that obviously are hidden. So, the whole game seems like you're going to have to come back to this whole place the second time. We still don't have the ability to get through there. And there's nothing we haven't checked out over there. I'm almost 100% sure this would make a save game for you. One of the problems I would say that they're not quite addressing with this game that they did better with BioShock is that BioShock fairly quickly did give you a gun. It just was a case that you would run out of bullets fairly quickly. Whereas here, we don't have a gun at all, and we're heavily relying on the wrench to fight things that very specifically are not dying due to wrench damage. Almost wonder if I should just try and jump over the ledge.
Good morning, Talos. All personnel should report to their workstations for the day. If you expect to be absent for any reason, please inform your immediate supervisor.
We still cannot get into the side quest area, which seriously? I guess that was the trick. Is that you were supposed to just see there was a computer terminal over here with a very big release door. Do we have a key code for this? No, that would take level 2 hacking. It definitely seems like there's an inconsistency here. Turns out Yuri's Kimura likes everyone else. I'll tell you over lunch. Let's see. Game sheet. Possibly being the security code. Let's see. What do we need to open this? Staff only. Why did the power and the lights go out? That's creepy. Okay. So we got through exactly one door. And unless there's a key card in here, which doesn't seem like you can even enter a code in here, it really just means we can't go any further. There's a volunteer down this elevator shaft, it seems. Would there be a way to get down the elevator shaft? No. So as far as objectives, it seems like we just have to go through the main story objective, which means to go somehow up. There's a operator dispenser to this hardware labs is where we need to go. And so this first hour of gameplay really has just been a total waste of time. That being said, let's not make it a total waste of time. Could I carry this that's broken as an object and recycle it? That's an interesting question. Would I want to carry and recycle it is another interesting question. Could I carry corpses to the recyclers and recycle them? We definitely cannot look at that video a second time. Right. Transfer junk immediately. And then just auto sort the rest. And recycle. Hold X to pick up everything. But even at that you don't quite get everything. Start. Make me the Huntress Boltcaster. It needs that crafting ingredients. Now we have a new gun with no bolts. The Huntress Bolt Canister launches foam darts which do 0 damage, also known for the ability to annoy coworkers, distract enemies, or remotely trigger buttons or screens. Use the right trigger to fire your toy gun and reload. Okay. So we've got the gun. And we've got no bullets for it. So I was hoping that this was going to be a very helpful item and immediately I see it's absolutely useless. What about glue canisters? See if we can craft another one of those. This probably will get cheaper later on. Okay, well, that was a waste. Yeah. The thing that's getting me is you have just key cards that are missing. Weirdly. It just feels like I shouldn't have key cards that are missing. And it does feel like the game is just intentionally making paths in which you go back in circles to the same places over and over again. The locker here 2 seems to be open. Apparently if you tap Y you'll switch between guns, so yeah, it does make a lot of sense. If I can make a long jump that way, that might work. If I could just kind of fly, or even a long jump that way, probably wouldn't work. That is certainly making an assumption, though, that you can actually walk on top of that. Well, we've got to answer this question anyways, as far as fall damage, so let's just make a quick save. Run and jump. Yes. That was what I needed to learn, although that was actually pretty spooky. Of all the things we've seen so far, that's probably been the most spooky thing, is just the vertigo of falling. There's definitely something weird about how this whole game depicts things. Combat basics. Take advantage of your environment and tools in combat. You do not have to fight every enemy head on. Use alternative routes to sneak past the enemies or get the drop on them. If you intend to fight, disabling enemies with tools like the glue cannon will increase your odds of surviving. Okay. Well, we can go in this teleconferencing room, and it seems like they've pretty much told you that there's a high chance of damage. You have to hold Y, then hit this. So was that specifically the place where you're supposed to have your first fighting encounter? Have I been fighting these phantasms this whole time? Apparently so. Apparently this whole time I have been just playing very hard mode. Which arguably maybe means I should just at some point consider even bumping it up to to normal difficulty. Yeah. The thing I've learned here, I think more than anything, I don't know what these prompts mean, is play the story. Play the story mode until at least this point, if not further. Because otherwise you are going to run around with no guns, and you are going to be fighting, if not end level difficult boss type characters, at least mid-tier level boss difficult type characters. I don't understand the map though that I'm looking at. Oh, so that's the way we're getting there. The map just didn't really show me that path. So I was thinking that I was going to have to figure out some way to go through the sales division, when really I could probably back my way into the sales division and find some extra items. We finally have an item that feels worthy of upgrading. Like if I was to... This one doesn't even upgrade, so... Let's see. Menu, upgrade, power, firepower, from 8 to 9, confirm. And apparently we can upgrade that. Let's go from accuracy, then upgrade, range. Any gun that can only shoot 25 meters is probably a mistake. And it seems like you have to upgrade everything at a certain level, or possibly you have to have gunsmith. Okay. I've got that. So neuromods. Gunsmith. We hadn't really seen a gun yet, so it wouldn't have made sense to get gunsmith up until this point. Suit inventory still makes a lot of sense, though. I'm going to highlight the silence gun, which is here, and press menu and click assign and put it over here. We only have 74 bullets, so we don't want to waste it on a lot of stuff. Now we can potentially shoot explosive things and make them blow up too. So we just are in a much better position all of a sudden.
Good morning, Talos. As a reminder, all personnel must complete monthly physicals during their stay aboard Talos I. Dr. DeVries promises to make them as quick and convenient.
Interesting how the speakers are not more universally placed. Sounds like I might be hearing some noise. Is there a way to possibly sneak around? It almost seemed like there was either something here you could switch off, or a vent. Okay. Okay. So it looks like we've got some major phantom enemies in the sales division. Would it be worth it to take this on? Would I convince this guy to possibly line up with me? Alright, that was a lot of bullets, like 25 bullets, but noticeably that did cause no damage to me at all. And sets us up nicely, I guess. Pause now if you want to read this. Look like baseball gloves. Baseball gloves looking much more like baseball gloves in the real world versus just the icon. There we have a foam dart. Here we have a picture. Pause now if you want to read this. A lot of used cigars. Yeah, and it definitely does seem like, at least at this point, if you take on a phantasm in this world, in an area, you're pretty much safe from mimics. And now, if I am fighting mimics, it does seem to me like you are taking on 6 of them at a time. Cosmos flower cuttings. Cosmos flower cuttings. Let's see. Too much inventory management again. What can we get rid of? Keep that. It seems to me like items stack almost well enough that you would never need to increase the stack, even if you could. Which maybe we can, maybe we can't. Pause now if you want to read this. Let's see. You can't ship at home, it's already been noticed. 1 month pay makes it go away. 4 neuromods. Alright. So that immediately brings up an interesting question as far as where do we go? And the number one problem we're having right now is with extra inventory space for 2. Yes, it would be nice if we could repair. Yes, it would be nice if we could leverage 2. Yes, it would be nice if we could hack 2. But honestly, the hacking element, I don't think, is what we really need to focus on at the moment, because we're just hacking into areas that then run into other problems. Anyways, the number one problem right now is this. Break down equipment in your inventory for spare parts and recover spare parts from destroyed operators. Is another one to potentially think about if we need spare parts. But I think our next move probably would just be try to get that gunsmith level 1 after that, or a hacking level 2. But boy, does that make a huge difference to go. Well, so much for no mimics, as I thought. We now have a second Huntress bolt caster. That is something we had already read, so yeah. Slash shelves with nothing in them. We need power turned on back in this area. And the question whether our power turned on back on that computer. I don't know how you would do that. Because it is turned on that computer. So it's very possible that this never gets power turned back on it. Unless there's some trick you can do or some upgrade you can do. Totally worth it though to come back into this area and get 4 extra neuromods to just bump us up. And see, that's a named person, so we now know that some of these phantasms probably are equivalent to the corpses. Could I get anywhere else? I don't really think so. I don't think I got another key or key card. It seems like they're going to be somewhat stingy with all of that. And the game itself may get a little bit smaller as you go further and further in it. Just in the sense that you very possibly are not going to run into enemies as much, or it's just not going to be as much of a challenge. So this is a workshop area where they take spare parts and design things. I have to question if I am not finding the foam darts now specifically because I fabricated the gun, and then finding the gun specifically because I fabricated the fabricated foam darts. Okay. Let's just recycle an extra one of those. And then auto sort. And let's just go ahead and recycle all that. Doesn't feel like that's going to matter too much though. Without a crafter nearby, you won't be able to craft bullets. So if this was a situation where we're going through this area and we would have to have shot something, am I taking damage for that, or is that just a swing and you make an exhausted sound? Alright, well, extra inventory. The main objective wants us to access Dr. Calvino's workstation to figure out the looking glass technology, so maybe we could see the rest of that video. This is just going to take us to a whole different area. I probably could go clean out the medical bay with the gun. It very possibly would take all of my bullets to do that, and I really have to question, when am I going to get plans to make more bullets? Because at the moment I'm going to probably waste them on phantasms when I should probably save them for even more difficult characters later. Although in all fairness, just doing less damage to your suit in particular is probably a smart move. I'm only going to have so many suit repair kits that I can find and until we can upgrade, and that brings about an interesting question as far as the suit upgrade neuromod. 2 additional chipsets can be installed. Yeah, none of these suit upgrades seem like they actually increase the integrity of your suit. Which, yeah. And I guess if I just start to have a ton of neuromods increasing your recycling ability, reduce your stamina cost for swinging the wrench might also be worth it, too. Increasing damage with firearms in general, overall, might be useful. Increasing stamina. Sneak attacks potentially being an option later down the road. It does not really seem like there is anything that would increase your suit integrity, so it does seem like you always are going to have a system of 100 armor and some amount of health on top of that. So using the gun now to prevent damage later. We have a corrupted thing. Combat sneak attacks. Press B if you wish to avoid direct confrontation. Okay, so these are corrupted. Okay. I chose to attack it. That was a mistake. Not sure we even know what that was. It looked like an operator. Okay, that was a mistake. I should have hacked it instead. I already had the hack ability. Which at a certain point we may get down to a revelation that the mimics are capable of hacking these. This is a level 2 hack. And we'll take the wrench just so we can recycle things. More and more I imagine we will. Let's see, we probably need to just assign the suit repair kit as a thing, and you can't even do that. They really want you to know it's February 23rd. Let's see. Doesn't feel like there was much of any information in that. Yeah, anytime we walk past water, we should refill our health. Anytime we're past anything we can search to grab things, obviously we'll grab it. It is a fairly quick transition here from what looks like a space station to what feels much more like a 1950s office. More stuff seems to be breaking off the space station from this side in particular. It is a very long... Let's see. I see a body out there. Could we identify the body? This kind of feels like this is a mouse only input, but let me hit the mouse and see if anything's happening here. Nope. X, Y, A, left trigger, right trigger, this. So unless the goal was to just wait until something came right in front of you, which maybe that's the idea. I think there's probably better ways in which you'll identify bodies outside. We've now collected an asteroid fragment, which will take up some inventory spot, but we just did upgrade our inventory, so we shouldn't worry. Pause now if you want to read that. Pause now if you want to read that. Some of this is getting very repetitive. It's kind of obvious. If the mimics really can, pause now if you want to read that, corrupt the technology as much as they can mimic humans, that definitely gives them two advantages. Now I'm getting 1 health for... I'm getting 1 health for each water right now. Eventually, I guess, if I got some neuromod modifications, I would get more health, although, again, it's very questionable as to why that would... There's a mimic over there. This requires hacking 3. So I couldn't have hacked the other one, it seems. Here we have another neuromod. Nothing there. Can we open this? Let's check the neuromods now. F4, hacking 2. Hacking is probably our next big deal. Leverage 2 certainly would make sense too. I think at a certain point, though, you're balancing out. Like, there definitely is an argument for firearms, though. Like, bullets themselves being so extremely rare. I guess the question really just comes down to, what do you want to focus on? I think I want to go with hacking 2, because I think that'll get us into more areas and increase our odds of more neuromods first. So we can see a phantasm here. It does seem like it's feeding off, or a phantom. It does seem like it is feeding off corpses and maybe even absorbing the memories, or just mimicking people. Which I would assume you have to absorb memories to do that. Okay. Weapon upgrade kit. Locker. Some bullets. Another silenced pistol. They really did want you to have all of that available to you before you fought the first phantasm. Silenced pistol ammo fabrication plans. So now we're in a much better position. We can download the area map. Which this shows us how big this whole area is. Which it's not too big. We can unlock the security locker also. Which it seemed like it changed from download the map to unlock the security locker. And then crew wise, yeah, I just don't think we're going to play with this. There is, I guess, a small chance that some of these characters could be in, where are we even in? I don't even know what section we're in. Yeah, but I would say we're most likely going to find most of the crew, then come back to the security terminals and find the other parts of the crew if we care about that, which we very possibly won't care about. Like, they definitely didn't want you to go through the store as much as they wanted you to see the Phantom. And we take our already upgraded gun here and we upgrade it more. You don't make the mistake of potentially upgrading this second one. Let's set off the security alarm. Used to wish we weren't alone in the universe. Spare parts here. We can fortify that at some point. Supply crate giving us a corroded coil. I don't know if that's really worth anything. I do kind of question at a certain point if there are a lot of secret areas like this. Where did we last save? Okay. Unlocking the security gate. Okay. So, let's probably not try and see, the question here would be, could you climb up here and jump and drop that? Or see, I don't think I need the hack. Interesting. It does seem like I just accidentally tend to slow down time into this fight mode. The survival mode too much. Arguably, I wonder if I should be getting necropsy. So it seems like we're going to just start seeing supply crates more often too. And food-wise, eat. Let's see. Drink. Eat. Eat that. Just, yeah. Try and get our health as high as possible. The recycler charge is an interesting thought too, as far as just, does the recycler potentially hurt enemies? I'm not sure if it really does. And I probably should wait to use it. Let's see. 5 psi points. We don't know what psi points are yet. So I probably should just do that. That's your best bet. And if you're going to do all of that, you might as well just quick save. So behind a barrier wall, we had a whole cutscene there. Arguably that guy, like, I should have probably paid a little bit more, paid more attention to that. So we now have a new key card. This is very much a scripted scenario. Somebody did get away, and at some level I guess we probably want to save as many people as possible, because we're going to need as much backup as possible against these mimics, unless we get to a point where the mimics can actually look like humans, and then paranoia would inevitably set in. I can't help but assume that a decent amount of resources will spawn if you are low on health or have just eaten a lot of food. It may be completely pre-scripted though. Could be definitely the case. That would be a bad way to design a game though, to have it where you're pre-scripted, everything is pre-scripted and you're limited in resources. There's another newer mod. They really are everywhere, aren't they? And corpses are going to be everywhere, aren't they? So anytime we see bloody paths going forward, that bloody path needs to be assumed that it leads to your destination, or it leads to a corpse. Right, well, I'm gonna carry this back this way. There we go. We've got it. Let's unlock this. We probably should quick save. And whenever this guy shows up, we should try and glue gun him. What I don't want to have happen though is that I'm standing in the doorway and that this guy is shooting me. Does this guy not have a standard pattern? He's over there. Let's see, we can't repair. So right. I think that was one phantom, but I don't think that was two phantoms. Psychostimulant increases the psychic potential. Let's see. Move this here and there. Now we've got some vertical stuff, and all of a sudden the game is getting much closer to.
A lot of the station tech starts here. Lab equipment, special parts requests, prototypes. We should be able to fix your looking glass terminal from Dr. Calvino's workshop.
Oh, how much can they really fix it when I smashed behind it? Typhoon lure, aka nightlight, emits a psycholuminescent signal that entices Typhoon to move toward the lure for a short period of time. Combine it with other weapons. Interesting. Can be thrown or fixed to stationary objects. Well, that is not something I want equipped. Come on. So pause now if you want to read that. Definitely sounds like there's another Typhon around here. We can slowly try to increase our health instead of eating food. You can see that there's fire going on that way, which arguably, I guess maybe I'm pretty fireproof, because that doesn't seem like that's hurting me. Or maybe I just was fairly lucky to not actually stand on this. What is a reployer, I wonder? Yeah, it's possible I didn't just directly stand on any of the fire. My glue gun is unfortunately fairly consistently not working. My efforts to shoot things not really happening. Now, I want to open this maintenance access panel and investigate where this goes. Seems like it's a one-way trip if I go down here, but whatever. EMP charge is a large burst of electromagnetic energy, highly effective against robots, turrets, and other electric-based entities. It can be thrown or fixed using right trigger. Again, we're getting a lot of inventory stuff. Let's auto sort. Store 1 health, cures 1 fear. Let's see. What can we eat and not really be upset about? That's probably fine. We really need to find a recycler to get rid of both a wrench and a gun at this point. Well, I was thinking maybe there would have been a valve to turn that off, but not so much. Let's quick save here and let's see, are we standing up? Goo! Oh, yeah. That would have been the move. That would have made a lot of sense, actually. So yeah, this is where I thought it was going to end up, is that you could have jumped down here and then one goo there, and then is it a matter of just waiting, or is it a matter of just shooting one more goo thing? How do you reload on these? With the X button? That makes sense. Which arguably means, should I always reload? I do have a slight question as to whether upgrading the magazine capacity on the handgun would have given me some extra bullets, like in Resident Evil 4. It's possible. I'm not sure I'm too concerned about it, though. I feel like if I just constantly upgrade my damage and I'm fairly safe about things, I will potentially be alright. Electrical junctions. You've been hit by an arc of electricity from a broken electrical junction. Goo temporarily stops the arcing long enough for you to use a repair to or bypass the hazard entirely. It will damage your enemies as well. Right. I'm gonna quick load here and cheat a little bit. Yeah. Because we've taking a little bit of extra damage. There. Imagine you could probably jump up from this to this to this if you wanted. That's certainly the long way around. There is definitely a guy like up here in that direction. And unfortunately, it just doesn't seem like there's ever going to be a really great point to end these episodes, so I think now is probably as good as we're going to get. Let's just observe this. But you know what I could do before we do that? Was there a recycler on the other side of this door? Yes, it is on the other side of the door, but it's probably worth it to do that. Yeah. It doesn't quite feel like the area is balanced well enough. And that they are asking you to have a full amount of inventory when it's just not likely to happen. Right. So the non-upgraded gun transfers. We could dismantle these if we had the dismantle ability, which I guess that's a question to ask first. Let's see, auto sort, that gives us a decent amount of inventory to start with, and then neuromod. It would be 6 neuromods before we could do anything more with hacking. So where's the dismantle ability? Repair, suit modification, dismantle. Dismantle would need 2 more neuromods to do it. And then it would give me spare parts. And how many spare parts do we have already? I think probably enough that it would justify this one time getting rid of all of that. And that recycles us everything into cubes, which then that's a much nicer, neater amount of stuff. Restores 60 Psi points. We just don't even have Psi yet as a thing, though. We're still so early into the game. It's kind of crazy. It definitely comes off as a game where they want you to run around the entire environment a second time. And I don't think you have extra penalties that are going to be incurred for even leaving an area and coming back. So, I feel fairly safe in what I just did. So your main objectives here are to just chase down the main story and not even do this optional quest until later. Run around the entirety of this area. We probably should go check out the ballistics lab first, come to think of it, because probably does have a possibility of giving us some weapons, but we would need a code, so going the direction we need to go is probably smart. Yeah. Just following the objective on the map. The map has a lot of cursors. There's obviously a whole second floor here and a smaller lower section. And some of these lower sections may very well be difficult to reach. This is a very much becoming an inventory management game more than anything else. And I don't think we could upgrade anything without Gunsmith 1, and I do think that is really what we want to do, is just get Gunsmith 1 upgraded next. Like, the only other thing that would even make sense would be to upgrade leverage, or perhaps upgrade repair and try to heavily rely on the turrets. But honestly, I don't think heavily relying on the turrets is going to help us much. They're not very strong. You could go Gunsmith 1 to upgrade your guns. You can also go Firearms 1 so that even unupgraded guns do extra damage. A lot of these other things, though, would be helpful, certainly, as far as just increasing your health, or perhaps even increasing your stealth. I don't know about stamina, although stamina does seem like it would be a thing. Though, like I was saying at the beginning, it does definitely feel like you should be more locked into a linear narrative experience, and then you get specific neuro mods that would have unlocked physician or hacking to start off with, and then you would get upgrade neuro mods that would let you go to the second or third tier aspects. We have massive amounts of notes, which none of which seem really important, a fairly large amount of emails, most of which don't seem that important, not that many audio logs. We're not getting a ton of key codes and passwords, but we have gotten a couple of extra keys in the last 2 hours. Plans wise, we can now make bullets when we get back to the crafter, which, yeah, we are definitely going to want as many bullets as possible, which means we're going to want as many resources as possible. We have no research. The stats I don't think are really even worth looking at per se, but we can see that the amount of recycler junk collected is severely higher compared to the amount of food consumed or most of every other objective in the game. Like, most of the objectives are in single digits. Recycled junk collected is 234. Arguably, it would be better to get the recycler as soon as we just have like 3 extra neuromods. It would make a lot of sense to increase this. Like, increase your yield. Plus that unlocks Lab Tech 1, which lets you use weapon upgrade kits to upgrade non-standard tech weapons beyond modification level 1, which does imply to me that we're going to have non-standard weapons as a thing, as more of a focus. Wrench damage also being improved would make a lot of sense. This says specifically security weapons, though, so this firearms neuromod may not even be the right one to go for. It says allows weapons upgrade kits to upgrade security weapons beyond their modification level 1, but then you have non-standard weapons also, so they've split the upgrades into two different groups. We still have done nothing with suit chipsets, scope chipsets. We haven't even seen that. We haven't seen the psychic powers. We're still just trying to see that video, which I broke the screen on that, so even if I do see the video, that's something. There's a radiation element to this this game, and yeah, the status seems like it's a wasted screen. The whole interface is really a mess. Let's go ahead and quick save, or let's actually make a proper save and end the episode here. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos because that helps me with YouTube. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wish list. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.